4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, customers are the backbone of any and all businesses. If you want to get more customers, we've got to seduce you all.
You've got to progress. If you want to attract bigger people in your life, then you've got to become a bigger person. You've got to become better at your skill sets. You've got to immerse yourself into personal development. You've got to find a mentor. You've got to find one or two people that have the results that you want.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, here we grow again with another Untold Upline Secret / the interviews. Listen, I've been excited about a lot of these interviews, and I know a lot of you have been getting some great value from the people that you've been learning from. But this one right here is special. This one right here is special for a bunch of different reasons. First of all, he's the #1 earner inside of his company, which is a global company. He is under the age of 30 years old. He is the youngest person to ever be inducted into the Network Marketing Hall of Fame. His career earnings is just a tinge under $20 million. He is a 6-figure weekly income earner and someone that I just got to know a lot better literally over the past couple of months. We've hung out together. We've done some events together, and I knew him from afar, and I always knew that he was a rock star and things that he's done and traveled all over the world and has some very, very large teams in numerous different countries around the world. But the cool thing about him is his age, his humbleness, and the fact that we can actually have some fun and get raw on this interview. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring to the stage my man, Mr. Anthony. Anthony, I'm gonna mess up your last name, and when people call me Cedrick, it drives me insane. So help me out with this so I don't mess it up.
Napolitano. Simple.
Napolitano. Got it. Anthony Napolitano, my man. Anthony, so good to have you here, bro. How you doing today, champ?
Good, man. Excited to be here with you. Really fired up for this.
Oh, man, we're going to have some fun here. First of all, just like before we started, I said it's unusual to even have you in Florida, in the United States. Like you're traveling all over the place. So for the people that do not know who you are, let's start off with that. Let's go all the way back to who is Anthony?
Yeah, so Anthony basically was a person who played sports his whole life, was a college athlete. That was my life. You know, everything I did every weekend, traveling, it was all sports related. High school, baseball and basketball. And then, of course, after high school, pursuing my baseball career at that next level. That was what I did. That's what I knew. And I can tell you a lot of that stuff actually, turned over into business very well, right? It transitioned into business very well. A lot of those routines, habits, all that consistency, that type of stuff. But at 18 years old, I got introduced to a network marketing. A buddy in college said, Anthony, I think you'd be good at this thing. And I was like, what are you talking about, man? What are you saying? And we actually met up. He sat me down and he's like, look, we could build something called residual income. And that word right there, that concept of residual income is the thing that sold me on the industry of network marketing. I love doing something today that could pay me tomorrow. I fell in love with that. And I decided to get involved. Up until that point, I never heard of network marketing, didn't know what it was, no clue, anything. And I just dove into it. And long story short, within about 6 months while I was going to school and playing sports, started making a full-time income. By 19, I was in the top 1% of the industry. So it happened honestly extremely fast. And it wasn't because I was skilled. It was just because I was hungry. So that was really what happened.
Gotcha. So how old are you now, Anthony?
28. So it's been about a decade now.
28, been in for 10 whopping years. Man, there's people that have been doing this for 30, 40 years that haven't done what you've done in 10 years. So I definitely applaud that. But let's go back because you talked about it, but I want to dive deep into this. Everybody I've asked this question to had a very interesting story and they all smiled. So because I remember my first time. When you were first introduced to this industry, first of all, did your college buddy, did he seduce you to a meeting? Did he just call you up and say, you got to look at this? Like, what was the actual introduction?
Yes, the introduction was more so we built a friendship. So he was really good. He wasn't an amateur. He was good at, approaching me the right way. We started building a friendship, went to a few different parties, school events, different things on campus. Like he started building rapport first. He didn't just like come in with the opportunity because he knew I could, had some influence on the campus and I'd probably be pretty good for his business. So he was smart on how he approached me and he built more of the friend approach. And then after that, he was just like, hey, man, I think you'd be really good at what I'm doing. I'm making some money. I knew he was making some money. He was driving a beautiful car. He had some, you could tell the guy was doing all right for himself. I didn't know where he was financially overall, but I knew he was doing probably better than me, right? I was 18
Right.
and I didn't have no money, but I was blessed to be in the position I was at college, right? With not having bills and all that other stuff. It was a great situation for me. But at the end of the day, I was like, I'd love to make some money. So then he kind of just threw out the approach like, man, I think you'd be good at what I got going on. And, I was pretty open to hearing out what he had.
Awesome. So you come from a sports background. Tell us really quickly, how has some of the disciplines, some of the things that you've gone through in the sports world actually has helped you in building your business?
Yeah, I think that was huge for me. The consistency, the routines, like in college, you wake up every single morning, 5 a.m. I was on the track running for an hour. Then, basically a breakfast, go to school from 8 to 12, practice from 1 to 4. Like, it was so militant in the routine. I just got so used to routines and, consistency with my daily habits that when I got into business, it was kind of like another one of those things. Oh, I just got to do it this many hours a day. And I was very consistent with it. That was never a problem for me, which, most people in our profession, our industry, they show up today, they don't show up for 2 weeks. That's their biggest problem. They can't consistently do it. So I never had that problem. And I think that's kind of what elevated me very quickly.
Good point. So 10 years, if I'm mistaken, you've only been in 2 companies, right?
Yeah.
2 companies in 10 years. And in the world of noise, because you're a young guy.
And pretty much really mostly, let's just say almost 9 in 1. So it was kind of a short little intro in the first one, but yes.
Right. So let's call it 9 years direct, one company. It's kind of weird for me saying like you're young. I'm like, I'm getting old, man. These gray hairs are popping in. I'm like, I'm 48. Like, this is crazy. When I was with you the a month ago, I'm like, this guy's got a lot of energy, man. I need like a Red Bull or something, but 9 years in the midst of all this noise. There's a lot of noise that's out here.
Yeah.
And when I use the word young, I'm only giving the context of the world that you grew up in, because you grew up around this whole social media game and there's so much noise that's going on. So how did you be able to sit still and stay consistent for 9 straight years with all this noise and all these distractions that are out here?
Yeah, because I kind of understood business really, really young, at a young age, because the people I was working with were a lot older than me. So a lot of people get mentored by people their same age, right? A lot of people that are 18 years old start working with 18-year-olds. So I was working with guys in their 40s, 50s, older guys that were, here for a long time in this profession. They've seen a lot of different things, and, kind of their wisdom and their mentorship applied with just my basic thought process and understanding business. And, most businesses are going to fail. So first off, if you could just get a company that could be here 10 years, like that's a blessing in itself, right? So just understanding the longevity of business and understanding that you don't have to go from 0 to hero. And typically a slower build is actually a more sustainable build. Just understanding like the process of business and understanding our profession specifically is all about developing people. So you got to develop people the right way. If you just attract a few people that are, let's just say bigger names that have audiences, as fast as they come is as fast as they can go, right? That's just the reality. They're not loyal to you. They're just, coming here. They see an opportunity. They're going to make it for what it is, whatever. But at the end of the day, if you take someone from the ground up, right? If you mentor someone that had nothing and you make them, a 6-figure earner or even potentially a millionaire, that person's going to have a lot more loyalty to you than some random person that just joined the business that already was good before the opportunity or whatever the case may be. So I always believed in the business of developing people. And I understood that the people that stay with me a long time, they'll all be successful with me because of the consistent activity we'll bring to the business each and every day. But like you said, in today's world, people can't stay consistent because every single day they wake up and they see this guy's highlight reel of this thing. And, it looks good on the internet, but, 6 months later, it's going to be out of business. But that's just the reality of this stuff. And it's sad. I think the internet was the greatest thing and the worst thing for network marketing and the world in general, right? Because it expanded your business so fast. Like, I use the internet to build my business around the world. That's a great tool that it brings to me. I also use it to make sales. But at the end of the day, as you know, it probably hurts more people than it helps. That's just the simple reality of it. And when there was only 5 companies in this industry and you had to go build this thing belly to belly, those people might have been better off. It would have been a slower build, but they might have been better off because they'd at least, not be all over the place and starting over. And I think in life in general, you got to do something a long time to get to where you truly want to be. It's not like you just go play basketball today and you're like in the NBA. No, how many years did you play that sport before you became a pro? How long does a doctor go to college before he ever does one surgery? Like, think about this stuff. People want this instant gratification, right? All the time. And we see on the internet every day with the highlight reels, but instant gratification is not sustainable. You got to develop a skill set that's going to pay you for a long time into the future, no matter if there's an opportunity or not an opportunity. But if you stay consistent and develop the skill, you'll always be paid. So that's kind of how I looked at it.
Man, you hit the nail on the head with the highlight reel, bro.
Yeah.
I think that the internet, I couldn't agree with you more. It is a gift and a curse. I don't know if you saw this. I put up a long post about social media last week, and I like broke down a lot of things. And I think that gift and the curse, like, we need it to a certain extent to help with business, but this comparisonitis that it creates, the urge that people have to post or say or do things to get likes or to get loves. People that have been really deep into personal development, they can smell insecurity 25 miles away. It's like, oh man, you gotta post this selfie, or you gotta post this, or you gotta post that to get this pat on the back, to get this like, to get this love. So man, I'm with you. That highlight reel is can be dangerous. It can be very dangerous. And you navigated it very well, man, because people in your age bracket, I mean, they live and die for that. You don't live and die for it, bro. Like, you're a very confident person. I mean, I've been around you. I understand that, but you're not the social media guy that I need this accolade. I need this. I need that. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So I kind of looked at social media as more so like a resume, more than it's a thing that I need as a key to build my business. I actually use it as something that, let's just say I meet you online, it's another edification tool, or I meet you offline, it's an edification tool. Like when you look me up online, you see that methodology more than anything else. I'm not like today, of course, in network marketing, a lot of sales are made through social media. Yes, I do make sales through social media. That naturally does happen, but it's not like, oh, I wake up today and I'm like, I need to make a sale on social media. I gotta go sell someone some product on social media. I never looked at it like that. I just wanted to document what I'm doing. If I'm around the country doing this event, I'm going to document it. I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to put it on Facebook, Instagram, whatever the case may be, and just document the history of what we're doing to showcase that, and also show the consistency, the credibility of what we're doing, more so that kind of stuff than the sale, where I think a lot of people are overselling products, overhyping products. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, I know, because, at the top of this industry, it's a very small circle. Like, this is the reality of it. It's a very small circle. There's a few people who are very connected. I see people posting on their social medias. Okay. I see them on their social medias posting. And then behind the scenes, I know their owner and their company's going out of business, but they're literally posting like their company's like doing like the greatest thing. It's like baffling. I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, you would really lead someone down that rabbit hole? That is just like, it's just crazy, man. But the internet, like you said, it's a blessing and a curse. So that's the reality of it.
100%. So let's get into one of these pillars. We're going to talk about leadership here for a second, and mentorship. I know one of your mentors, very good friend of mine, obviously has helped affect your life in a very, very big way. 9+ years ago, you took a chance. You took a chance because when that opportunity came to you, it was new. You didn't walk into something that was sitting still for 20+ years. I just finished an interview with Brian Carruthers, and I'm like, dude, you sat still in one place 25 years. It's made over $25 million, but that company was in business before he got there. Yep. You, on the other hand, you took a chance, and you could have went in any direction. So let's talk about what were some of those things that helped you make that decision. I know mentorship was one, and you can go down this rabbit hole as deep as you choose, as deep as you want to. But what were some of those things that helped you make that decision and say, I'm willing to bet my name with this person. I'm willing to bet my name with this opportunity.
Yeah. So honestly, at the time, like you said, it was nothing, right? Like no sales, nothing. It was a model that they didn't even know what they were really doing, the owners themselves. So it was something that I could come into and kind of create it. I like to be like the creator. I like the Play-Doh stage of something and building something together. And that one mentor you're talking about right there, he loves that aspect of it too. So I like kind of creating it and designing it as much as building it, right? So I love the concept of that. And when I got involved, I fell in love with what they were doing. Of course, you've been in network marketing a long time, and there was a lot of, health and wellness companies, loved those companies, a lot of traditional network marketing businesses. It was a new age model at the time, which it still has some of those older factors today. And, it's a combination of things, but some of the stuff that they were doing was different. The amount of payout they were doing compared to the rest of the industry, how they really wanted to, throw money into the business model compared to a lot of other companies. They didn't have as much overhead costs, et cetera. They also created a product that had the potential, by, education and knowledge and stuff like that, to potentially make money by using a product that was really different in network marketing. I never saw a product like that. So there was a couple of appealing things at the time that drew me to it. But when I got involved in it, I was like, okay, well, really, there's not much leadership here. There's not success stories. We have to kind of create all that. There was nothing to edify, as you know, right? There was nothing there like, oh, look, this is what people have done here. Like, there was none of that. So we had to become that. But I love the concept of building it. And it's kind of funny, think about a decade later, not one person is involved from that first year from the company. Think about that. That's how crazy the business.
Really, not one?
Not one.
You're
So
the only one that made it.
I survived all 4 founders. The initial all 4 founders, all gone today, public company, Wall Street guys on the business. So I'm the only guy who made it, which is kind of crazy to think about the transition of business too, right? And, how a business works. And we got it to a point where when you get Wall Street involved in your business, that's a good point to get the business to, right? Like when you get big money involved in a network marketing company, traditionally 6, 7 might have ever went public in our industry. There's not many that have went public. So to get that type of business going and people could see the potential in what you guys are doing. And of course, those guys look at the network effect, our global scale of our business and how we were able to go, 128 countries, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I loved the development. I loved that. I love the challenge. And, most people, this isn't for them. When you got to wake up every day in the beginning years, right? If you ain't making sales, your company might go out of business. That's a little different. Like most people cannot handle that. But I love the journey and, we've been able to be successful. Everyone's been paid every week for 10 years. The business has grown. Of course, it changed. It developed as other people got involved on the corporate level and, ownership level, et cetera, as the business evolved over the years. But it's been a fun ride, man. It's been a blessing. So I kind of like the pioneering stage. Most people are kind of afraid of it. And hey, I'm going to be honest, 99% are going to fail. That's just a simple fact of the pioneering stage. But I like the challenge. At the time, I was 19 years old. I was like, man, let's do this thing. I was fired up. I was willing to work. I wasn't a guy who was like, yo, I'm going to sit behind the computer and hope this thing gets big. I was willing to go anywhere in the world. I was going to Africa and South America. I'm just 19 years old, just traveling the whole world to get the business going. So I was willing to do it. And you got to have willpower and ambition. But yeah, I loved the development. I loved having a role in the development of it and really building the culture, the vision, the product suite, like that whole thing as it transformed.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's go into that next pillar of mentorship. I know your mentor extremely well, and you talk to him on a regular basis, and he's one of the, in my book, he's the top 3. There's only a couple of OGs.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's top 3 in my book. But he's somebody that's so full of integrity and it's really about helping other people, very wealthy, but does not flaunt it, does not act like it by a long shot. Let's talk about some of the things that you've actually learned from this gentleman that you've been able to apply to your business and to your life.
Yeah. So, what I learned from him very, very early on, even 18, 19 years old, like when we started meeting, becoming friends, of course, the relationship got bigger and better as we got older, right? But even just like first meeting him, it was like, never do anyone wrong. Everything in this industry will fail around us if we do it right, and everyone will eventually join us. Why would you create an enemy or do something wrong to someone where they could say something about you? So we've always done everyone right. We've been probably screwed a lot. Like, honestly, we've probably been screwed a lot more than we've, things have worked out with certain situations. But at the end of the day, we rather overdo it and do someone right so they can never say anything bad about us. And we've always helped people, always taken care of people. Anyone who's ever worked with us, we're going to do it the right way and, really help them become successful. If they do anything with us, they're going to become successful. We're going to put you in a position to win. But I can just tell you, just doing people the right way and having a long-term approach to the business. Like me, over the years, yeah, many people have come, gone, that's network marketing. It happens every single day. but no one ever, says anything bad about me. And a lot of people come back to me because, we're going to do it the right way. So that's kind of it. And on our space specifically, just talking about like our little niche in the industry, pretty much there's only one other company that's even been around since we've been around, and it came out a little after us. But at the end of the day, even that business today and every other business besides that, every other one has completely went out of business. So to put that like in perspective, it's kind of crazy to think about, like you said, shiny object syndrome. Like, oh, it might be a little better than what they're doing. Like, oh, yeah, go to that. And then 6 months later, they're calling you, man, hey, the thing went out of business. Yeah. It's like doing it the right way and having a long-term approach to it. But I think treating people the right way, leading the right way, like if someone hits you up, get back to them within a minute. Like I'm on top of it. If you hit me up, I'm going to hit you back real quick. This is like the reality of like, that's just how you do business, and you do things the right way. So that's our number one thing. Everything else will figure itself out. But if you take care of the people, the business will be successful.
Now I know. First, I thought I was special, like, because you do hit me back real fast. But now I just do that. That's just part of my nature.
That's true.
Damn, I thought I was special. Damn, all right, I'm just messing with you. So let's take this. Let's take this a step further, though. Let's take it a step further. Here's the other step. One thing I know about this guy, he's not flashy. He's not a money burner. And there's things that I'm sure that you've learned directly as well as indirectly. Now, at you're 29 or 30, which one is it?
28.
28. So 28 at 28 years old. At 28 years old, a little less than $20 million. Here's something that I have not seen from you. I have not seen Lambos, Ferraris, tricked out chains, 20,000 square foot houses, hotel room full of girls, flashing money all over the place. I haven't seen any of that. And I'm going to attest some of that to the mentorship that you've been around. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that's important, because most 28-year-olds don't have that mindset when they're making 6 figures a week, man. They don't have that kind of mindset. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, I would say I was actually more flashy the younger I was, right? And as I've gotten older, I've become less and less and less and less flashy. So if I ever hit with a post here and there or something, the team always goes crazy because they're like, oh, he never does anything like this. He ain't never doing it. He's the most low-key guy in the world. But yeah, when I was like 18, 19, I think I bought my first Rolls Royce Ghost at 20. So like at the early stages, I was more flashy, right? And being in the position that I was, being a number one income earner of a company and stuff, compliance-wise and many other reasons, like I just didn't want to ever jeopardize anyone's business by posting anything that could potentially hurt anyone's, potential check, because it's not my livelihood, it's their livelihood. So there's many people that you're going to be affecting. So I became super common. For me, like you said, though, I don't really care about that stuff. I cared about the stuff when I couldn't afford the stuff. And then like once you could afford the stuff, your mindset starts shifting and changing. And now it's like, how many properties do you own? How many investments do you have, right? Like how much money do you have in the equities market? How much money do you have in the crypto market? Like I'm more excited about that kind of stuff than ever, clothes, cars, flashiness. And what we've actually done is I've really kind of duplicated that into the people. And that's been like my proudest thing, right? When I see like guys that are making great incomes, because you can make money in network marketing. All you guys watching this know you can make some money in network marketing, but most network marketers are broke. That's the sad reality. That's the sad truth. So to see all these guys in their early 20s, early 30s that I've been working with the last 5, 6, 7 years of their life doing what I've been doing, they're actually wealthy individuals today. They're not 100% relying on this. They've been able to build multiple streams of income. They've been able to have assets work for them. They put their money into good places. Like that is probably my proudest thing at this point. And I've done that with the higher up leadership of the company, because I've been able to talk to them private one-on-one calls, like, group calls where we all come together, talk about investing and business and like just developing their mindset when it comes to that regard, like I am today. That's the greatest part, man. That is, in my opinion, the greatest part, because these people have now become true entrepreneurs, not just salespeople in a network marketing company. No, they really are entrepreneurs, and they know how to have their money work for them. They know how business works. They've created a leverage in their life through network marketing, through many other vehicles. That is the power of what we're doing. So yeah, that's kind of the approach change, right? And him specifically, he's like the most laid back, quiet guy. And it's like, it's funny because if you think of like one of these billionaires you see, right? Like one of these guys on the internet, like how they dress, It's kind of like him. He's like one of these guys, like it's some jeans. You're like, oh, this guy, right? But like super successful, super low key. And that's kind of how I want to be. Like if you saw me out in public, like let's just say at the gym or something, you would never know who I am. Not in a million years. You would never know I was successful in business. You would just think I'm a regular 28-year-old. Like you would have no clue. And that's kind of how I want it to be. I didn't want to change as a person, but we are doing things to build wealth properly.
Right. Good point. And listen, for those that are listening, this isn't about, hey, not getting some of the things that you want and achieving those dreams. On the same token, it's kind of like, just like you said, when you get to a point where you can actually get those things, it doesn't really matter that much anymore, you know, because now you've got it. You know, I've told this story a couple of times and it just keeps popping in my head because it's a reminder for myself. You're 28. I made my first meal when I was 27 in the mortgage industry. And I tell people all the time, my goal was to get rid of it. And they were like, what do you mean? Man, I grew up in the hood. I didn't have anything. So it wasn't about give me the $1 million and then go get rid of it. It was about there's 7 days in a week. I must need 7 cars. Like I must need to go to the mall and, you know, play TI with my ex-girlfriend at the time. Whatever you like, baby, can I have whatever you like, whatever you like. Like you blowing money, people looking at you at the mall thinking you a freaking football player or something like, who is this dude? You know what I mean? But then reality starts to kick in. It's like, man, what they all got to the same destination. Not saying that, hey, we don't have nice cars, but we sure don't have 7 of them anymore. Like, what's the purpose? We need a Wednesday car, a Friday car. Like this one is called Wednesday. This one is called Monday. This one is called Sunday. Like some things don't matter the older you get. And I think I can even take it even deeper because, you know, I've got 20 more years than you have on this planet. And now I've got grandkids. So I can't think about some of the same stuff no more. It's like, I got to think about them. Like I don't even do Christmas. I learned a long time ago. I told my dad, I said, man, why didn't you give us investments when we were young? And he was like, that wasn't how I was thinking, said. And I'm like, man, G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip and this and that and blah, 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 and Ataris and Commodores and He-Man and all this crap. Man, what if I would have got some Nike stock? What if I would have got some Philip Morris stock? So like every year Christmas time now, I give my grandkids crypto and silver. That's it. I'm like, Mom, Dad, y'all can buy all the crap that they're never going to remember because I don't remember anything. They're going to outgrow all those clothes, all those toys. They're going to be broken, but they're going to remember when they're 18 years old. If I'm still breathing, every year I'm giving them silver. Every year I'm buying them crypto. They're going to remember at 18, like, Papa thought about this. Yep. And that's so important, which helps me monkey branch into the next question with you. Why is multiple streams of income so important outside, keyword being outside of what you're building? Because some people might look at this and think, oh, let me build 5 of them at the same time. I 8 of them at the same. No, you got this one going, but then you start to take some of that money and invest in other places. So tell us why that's important and how that's actually changed your life at the same time.
Hey, someone had to say it, right? Someone had to tell them, hey, don't try to build 9 things at one time, the same type of business model. That ain't gonna work, man. That's not gonna work. So don't try to do it. That's a lot of auto ships that are gonna be useless, man. Don't be doing that stuff, okay? But at the end of the day, I think you have to master something, right? I think too many people, they hear the saying, that famous saying, oh, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So everyone thinks, oh, I'm 18 years old. I got to get 7 streams. Like, calm down, buddy. Calm down. Let's master something, and then we can diversify with the gains and with the success. And that's what a lot of people don't hear in these successful entrepreneur stories, right? Most of these people, guys, girls, etc., they crushed something. And by crushing something and doing great at it, they were able to take the additional money, the additional cash flow, and diversify. So someone like myself, yeah, I crushed network marketing. That's what I do. I'm really good at it. I love it. I'm passionate about it, right? Been able to get to a point in life where there's a lot of additional cash flow on top of my living expense every single week that comes in. Well, guess what? Every single week that extra money comes in, I go put it into things that are going to make me more money long-term, and put it into things that, like you said, are appreciating, not depreciating. That's the concept here. So buying things that, okay, let's buy property. Let's do that. Let's have renters. Let's have people pay us cash flow on a monthly basis. Hey, let's buy other investments. Let's buy into companies. Let's, get a piece of this, a piece of that, whatever the case may be. I'm looking to have my money compound and get further and further along in the future. And of course, we all know historically, the day you get paid from your job is actually the day that dollar is most valuable. Isn't that kind of crazy to think about that? If you think about that one, the day you get paid, your dollar can actually buy you the most it will ever be able to buy you. Every day historically after that, your dollar can buy you less of something. So we always say savers never become rich because savers save to spend. What does that mean? They save up enough, go buy the car. Save up enough, go buy the house, and they always start over. But investors invest for lifestyle because the money that their money's making, they live off of. And that's a whole different component. So that is the name of the game. And of course, you put some away for a rainy day, but having your money work for you and keep compounding and having, like you said, multiple streams of income today where, hey, network marketing today, if it just disappeared tomorrow, I can live a great life with or without the industry. It's been a blessing to me, but I'm not relying on it. I don't need this money because I've been able to take the money that I've made from it and diversify it out and create all these additional revenue streams.
Skill set. Keyword I got from that is develop that skill set first.
Yes.
Develop that skill set. And let me make it clear, because there's going to be a couple people that are going to look at this and say, well, I know Anthony's mentor and I know who Ced's talking about, and he's got different things going on. You're right. You know what makes him different though? Leadership. See, at the end of the day, you can have people in certain opportunities if you're not the one that needs to be the face of it. But it's going to take you a while to get, he didn't start. It's going to take you a while. It's going to take a base, and the relationships is key, but also understanding who you are as an anomaly. And I think that right now people get too confused, man. They get, because social media screws them up.
Yeah.
I want a team over here. I want a team over there. I want a team over here. And Monday I see you promoting something. Tuesday I see you promote something different. Wednesday I see you promoting something. I'm looking back like, man, you're creating the most confusion that I ever seen in my life. Like, focus. I think you'll love this story here. I remember even at Camp Little Hawk when I was in the boys club, and they came out, they said, how do you set a forest on fire? And they set us down, sunny day, grabbed the magnifying glass, put the leaves under it, sun hit it, and you set still. And after a minute or 2 or 3 minutes, you saw a spark. You blew it. You kept that magnifying glass still. You saw another spark. You blew it. You put a couple of pine needles on there. Then woof, here comes a flame. You blow it a little bit more. Whoosh, now you got a fire. You step back, you'll burn the whole freaking forest down. Flip side of it, in our industry, we got a bunch of people with a magnifying glass shaking like a paraplegic. They want to set something on fire, but they're constantly shaking because they're adding this, they're adding that, they're adding this, they're adding that, instead of sitting still. And I think that you're a perfect example of that. You're a perfect example of, man, I'm zoned in. I am freaking zoned in. Yeah, do I've got other streams of income? Yeah, but you don't even know what they are. You don't even see them. You know, I have stocks and bonds and crypto and real estate and different things. But at the end of the day, that income stream and MLM, you're locked into that. And I think that that's so powerful. And somebody of your age and caliber, I think that says a lot to everybody that's looking at this video. You know, so that's
I think though you're 100% hit it on the head. That's what we were talking about earlier with the internet and the distractions, and people, like, they just try something a day. They don't get the gratification they want within a day. It's like, man, you think you're going to become a pro in a day? Like, you think you're going to build something great in a day? It's not going to happen. Like, you got to, develop yourself. You got to develop other people, especially in our industry. It's not a thing that happens in a day, but if you consistently pound the pavement, you're going to win. I always say I'll beat everyone in network marketing. Why? And I say that in a proud, like, not a egotistical way or anything, but most people just won't stay consistent. It's like, I already beat 99% of people just showing up daily. You know that as well. It's like, they're going to do something. Even companies that you think are way bigger than you right now, their leadership is going to get all happy and fat at the top, right? They're going to make some money for 2 years. They're going to stop working, stop doing the things that got them there. And trust me, their business will be apart 5 years from now. It's like, at the end of the day, don't buy into your own advertisement. Don't buy into your own success. Like, just stay doing what made you successful. Stay pounding the pavement. And I think it's got to be bigger than money, because if it's just money, you're going to have money, but you got to have purpose behind what you're doing. Like, for me, it's a sport. It's winning. We want to beat you. Like, why? We don't go play pickup basketball and say, oh yeah, we want to get our ass kicked by these guys. No, we want to go beat those guys, right? That's just the human nature within us. Like, we want to win. So I kind of look like network marketing when I went from sports to network marketing. It's a new sport. Let me be good at this sport. I want to be the best at this sport and help other people become very good at this sport and create a great team in this sport. So that's the methodology.
Man, that's real passion. I can see it in you. I can feel it. It's that Will Smith attitude, right? I don't know if you saw that video where he said, if you get on a treadmill and I get on a treadmill, you're gonna die because I'm never gonna get off. Yeah. You know, and that's key. You carry that. So you carry that. So let's shift gears here for a second. You know, let's shift gears and talk about a global empire. You know, you have built a business all over the world, and there's people that are looking at this that are wondering, man, how can I have tens of thousands of people in this country, in this time zone, in that time zone, and blah, blah, blah. Talk to the people that are listening right now about how to be able to truly build a global empire and why that's so important.
Yeah, so it's really just a few of the right people. I think people make network marketing so confusing, like, oh, I need to have 10,000 people on my team. Well, okay, let's break this down. One person could lead to the next 10,000. And I think so many people in network marketing, they overwhelm themselves, not just realizing like every person you bring in is a new network of people that you don't know. So realize every person is a new list. It's a new complete inventory of potential prospects, potential people that can join your business. So I had that approach with it. So in the early stages, I didn't know anyone outside of Florida. Like that was it. I knew people in South Florida. That's where I grew up. I didn't know anyone internationally. I didn't know anyone anywhere, right? It was Florida. But by doing local events, meeting people, guess what? This person knew someone in that state, and this person knew someone in this country, and it started expanding. And I started through the network, diving down 5, 6, 7 levels deep, just diving down through the network. And that's another lost art in our profession, right? People aren't diving down. They're not diving down through the levels. Like that's where the money's made. So they're not doing that. They're working with generation one, right? Like the person they brought in, they're like, oh, I'm working with them. They're duplicating it down. It's like, no, they're not duplicating it down. They're not as qualified as you. But that's how a lot of people do things. But I was diving through the levels, starting to meet some people. And guess what? Boom, this place, that place. And then on top of that, documenting and highlighting all the stuff on social media. So it's like I said, I use social media as a great thing to my business, where most people, I'd say, it probably does more bad than good. But at the end of the day, I made it a great thing for my business because all the stuff we were doing locally in Florida, around the U.S., etc. Some of the first few countries I was going into, like Canada was very early on. Then Germany was very early on. There was certain markets that were early on, highlighting all this stuff. And then people all over the world were like, yo, I see you going there in this place. Yo, we want to do this, that, whatever. So that's kind of how I did it. But I think, like I said, people aren't diving down through the people's list, through the, the levels of their business and, finding those quality people. It's a lot of the time, not the first person you enroll. It's going to be the ace in the business. So you got to go down those levels a little bit.
So I think you'll love this. I always teach people a leg isn't a leg until it's at least 4 levels deep. Like you've never seen a table stand on one leg ever, and you're right. Some people, they recruit that first person and that's what they think it is. And that tap rooting, getting down 2 levels, 3 levels, 4 levels, 5 levels, like that's a big deal. That's how you really truly build residual. However, Anthony, you do a lot of traveling, bro. Like, let's talk about that tap rooting, because we're recording this right now in November. So just off the top of your head, between January and November, how many countries have you been to between January of this year and November in the past 11 months?
Oh, that's tricky. I could tell you what the last 8 weeks alone were a lot of things, but my brain probably couldn't even comprehend all those places. But probably, I would say minimum probably 20 countries.
20 countries.
Probably many states, many local meetings, really all over the place. I've traveled for my business now to, I believe, 67 countries around the world, 67 different countries. I have customers in 128, but I've done like legitimate events in about 67 of them now. So it's been a great experience. Been to multiple continents, pretty much every continent, actually, if I think about it, except Australia. Haven't been out there yet, but we have a big team out there. So they just started. It's going pretty good. So I'll probably be out there soon. But I've been pretty much everywhere. But I can tell you, when I go to these places, I really locked in with the people. I think that's another lost art, meaning like, let's say I go visit you and you're in some country and I don't get to see you every day, right? We live across the world from each other. Yeah, maybe Zoom and etc. We can do Zooms and stuff like that. When I go there, I'm yours, meaning my full attention is yours. I'm not on my phone. I'm not doing other calls for other teams. I am locked in with you, giving you my full attention and building that relationship with you and also trying to get your business to that next level. So I think that's also a lost art. I see a lot of leaders go to places and they're like on the cell phone their whole time. They're not really spending quality time with the people they're working with and building those relationships. And, you know, this whole business is relationships. You could go make money in any industry in the world. Why would you want to work with this person, right? At the end of the day. So for me, I build a relationship. I try to teach them, pour into them. I'm theirs. If they need me up at 4 a.m. to go meet someone, if they need me 7 o'clock at night to meet someone, whatever they need, like throughout the day, typically, you know, when you're on the road, but like in Europe, especially, they eat late, right? So it's like we start and then we eat dinner like 11 at night. We're not get back to the hotel till 3 in the morning. Like this is how this thing goes. And it's over and over each and every day. But I'm passionate about it. I understand why I'm there. I understand what I'm doing. And I love meeting the people now. It's so cool. Like I call up anyone in the world and get picked up at an airport. It's like pretty crazy to think about all the people I've been able to meet in the last decade. And you know, a decade go by super fast, especially if you're working. If you're working, it's gonna go by. Like I wasn't sitting around, so the years just. I was like, man, I saw the guy who actually got me involved in network marketing when I was 18 the other day. And I'm like, bro, from the day that I met you to now, like it just feels like it was like boom, like quick, dude. It just happened.
Is he still in the industry?
He's not in the industry. He's in high ticket sales today, but great guy, like really cool dude, down to earth guy, successful in his own industry and what he's doing today. But yeah, it's funny, just kind of like time really goes by fast. The last 8 weeks, that's what I'm saying. The whole year, I can't even think like the schedule is just crazy. But the last 8 weeks, I've been in Spain, Germany, France, Belgium, been in Virginia in the U.S., Houston in the U.S., Jordan in the Middle East. Next week, I'm going to San Diego. This is last 8 weeks. So like we go, like it's all over the place all the time. So I love it, passionate about it.
So the next question somebody's going to have is that, okay, you're in Europe and you're all these other different places, but you speak English. Now, I've got to set this up because I've seen some of those events. Man, those events in Europe can get crazy. I mean, the energy is bananas. I mean, 4, 5, 6,000 people, but they're not speaking English. So for those people that are like, well, I want people in Belgium, I want people in Europe, I want people in Asia. How do you do that when they don't even speak your native language?
Yeah, so I'm very lucky to be speaking English as my native language. Let's just say that. Anyone who speaks English on this call or watching this, you're very lucky to speak English because globally, English is the language of money, meaning around the world, the successful business people speak English historically. So the leaders, even though maybe the organization might not speak it, the top business people and all the markets around the world speak it. And that's a blessing to have. I wish I spoke 3 or 4 languages. Some of my leaders in Europe speak 4, 5, 6 languages. It's like incredible, right? I wish I did that. I've been trying to learn a few of them, like because I hear them all the time. I'm doing calls on a daily basis. And it actually gets kind of overwhelming when you hear 6 languages in a day, right? You do a call with this team, call on that team. You're just like trying to listen, pick up on things. But at the end of the day, I'm blessed to speak English. It's been, incredible because, like I said, globally people speak it that are in business. And of course, when you go to these places, you have translators, and everywhere I go, I have translators. On calls, I have translators. So your goal is just to get your information in front of the right person. That's what I was saying previously. It's like a lot of people think you need all these people to build a great business. Honestly, you build an army with about 10 to 15 solid people. An army, I'm talking like tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, but with really 10 to 15 key people. So at the end of the day, you don't need a billion people, and always realize one person can completely change your life in this profession.
That's true. I mean, Jesus did it with 12.
Yeah.
With 12, I mean, best network marketer on the planet. You know, translators, very interesting. I would love to watch that because I need to watch you notch down just a notch because you can talk fast like me. And my speed just kind of turned up a little bit because I had a cup of coffee right before this Zoom, and I'm drinking it right now. But I can only imagine sometimes the translator's like, stop, time out.
I became such a pro at it. I only say a certain amount of words. I sound like when you do it every day, you get good at it. But some people, they go on the stage, I see the translator's face like what? How am I going to translate? You spoke for 5 minutes. What am I going to do here?
I can only imagine. So let's talk about this because we've seen this transition in the industry, and you've been in long enough to see this transition as well. Years ago, it was really all about recruiting. Recruit, sponsor. And I think because of influencers and because of affiliates, because of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, video, all these different ways to be able to communicate now. The industry is veered a lot more on customer acquisition. And your company is one of the few that you guys got over 90% customers, like over 90% customers. So my question to you would be, number one, why do you even think the industry has veered? Because I know and understand, but I love to get other people's perspective. Why do you think the industry has even veered more on customer acquisition? And then number two, why do you think it's important for the model that people are in? Because I talk about this inside of my book. Why do you think it's important for the model that people are in to have strong customer acquisition?
Yeah, so this is a great topic because I see some people who are super successful in the industry that would argue with us. Oh, it's all about like they would argue to the T about it with us, right? But everyone that I've ever seen that is opportunity driven, they are fast cash, fast crash, meaning their business goes up super fast, right? But it's not going to sustain because at the end of the day, even if you have a great opportunity, not everyone's going to be able to build a business. That's just the simple facts about it, right? Not everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone's meant to be a business owner. So the sustainability, the retention of those types of businesses is very, very rough. The key to network marketing, and if you look at the multi-billion-dollar companies, the ones who have been here 20, 30, 40 years, those people are buying a product until they die. And that is real residual income. So, I actually looked at Apple. Okay. Apple, everyone's heard of Apple before. It's one of the biggest companies in the world. Okay. Probably biggest actually currently by market cap. But that all being said, Apple, okay, they last quarter made about 30%, and it's going up each quarter if you watch, 30% of their revenue off of subscriptions. Think about this. From Apple TV, Apple Music, this was a company who sold a hardware, a one-time purchase product for many years, right? They've transitioned their model to create all these digital subscription-based services, and that's 30+% of the revenue today. That's pretty insane if you think about it. So it shows you that subscription-based models or auto ship type of models, those are the models that are very rewarding to you as a person when it comes to residual income and the company. Hey, I can tell you your electric company likes the residual income. Your water company likes the residual income. Your cell phone company likes the residual. Why are all the biggest companies in the world collecting residual income and you're complaining about paying an auto ship? Think about it. What do you got to do? You got to create the auto ships yourself. That's the name of the game. So understanding that, but understanding that the businesses that are built on customers, it doesn't matter about the opportunity. It doesn't matter if the opportunity is great. It doesn't matter if the opportunity has momentum. It doesn't matter about anything. If they fall in love with the product, they're always going to purchase. And that is consistent revenue coming to the company month in and month out. And that was my goal building the business. My goal was like, hey, if we can get so many customers that we're not reliant on, just new people coming in monthly because the turnover won't be there. The turnover is going to be very, very good compared to traditional network marketing companies. Average network marketing company turnover about 2.5 months. If we could get that double, triple, quadruple those numbers, hey, you're going to have something that's really long-term here and could pay you for many, many years into the future and really create that passive income. So I always believe, like you said, in customers. The whole industry is customers. And of course, you're going to have the people that are going to go recruit those customers, but customers are the base of your business, and that is your residual income. And the more customers you can get, the stronger that you're going to be. And you can't lose when you got customers because they're still just working their job or doing what they're doing. They're just happy to be a part of buying the product, buying the service, whatever the case may be. So that's it. And I can tell you, like I said, opportunity-driven people, man, it's fast cash, fast. All the opportunity-driven companies, they just disappear. They don't sustain the test of time. And if you let's go look at the biggest network marketing companies in the world. Do you hear money stories from the biggest network marketing companies in the world today? Probably not. Most of those companies probably haven't created a new top earner in 20 years, right? Like it's like, you don't hear people hitting big ranks or big checks. Yeah, there are people still making a ton of money for sure because of all the customers, but they don't have to have the momentum they even had 20 years ago. Those checks are still coming because customers are buying the product each and every month forever until they pass away. So that's the reality of it.
Man, that's a good point. Dexter Yeager died a couple of years ago, and I think his income was at about $800,000 a month. Yep. And his trust still receives $800,000 a month. Yep. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's not building anymore, but how many customers
correct
on his Amway squad?
Correct.
I mean, it's crazy, and most people don't get that. You know what? You made me think about something here really quickly. I told you we're doing a lot of this stuff off the cuff. Yeah. because Apple doesn't pay us, we're going to affect them just a little bit today. For those of y'all that don't know, because I just figured this out the other day.
Okay.
I want people to think about how many subscriptions that they've signed up for and that they forgot about.
Oh, yeah.
Like they literally forgot about. And Apple is good at this because you'll subscribe to something for $6.99 or $8.99 and you forgot about it, and you're not using it. And then the email comes and it's like, I'll get to it later. So if you go to your where is it at?
The app where you go to subscriptions.
Yeah. You go to your Apple, you log in, then you click on settings, and then you click on your name.
Yeah.
And then you come down to I think it's payment. I think it's payment and shipping. Hold on, this is opening up something else. Hold on, try to give me the ID there. Hold on, let me back up out of here. Oh, to open up a subscription there. Hold on. I want to do this because I'm sure there's somebody right now that is paying for something that they don't need. If you click on subscriptions, and you see all those subscriptions, and you go back, you're like, hold on for a second. I don't use that anymore. Like I look at it now and I'm like, okay, the Facebook verified, that's $15 a month. Audible, that's $15 a month. Apple Music, that's $11 a month. My Glorify prayer app, that's $7 a month. Instagram verification, $15 a month. But then I saw something that I did a while back, Sleep Cycle. I'm like, I'm not using that anymore. Cancel that. Photor, photo editor. I'm not using that. But I say all that to say is just like you said, as a customer, 30% of their business, their last quarter was subscriptions.
Yep.
So if we're forgetting about certain things and we're paying for something, if you see one of the biggest companies in the world that has more money than the freaking government, if you see them doing it, it's called a clue. It's called a clue. And that's a clue that we all want to be a part of.
That's why when I hear someone say network marketing, I don't believe in an auto ship model. I'm like, well, you don't believe in residual income. So what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Why does everyone else do it? Why do all the biggest companies in the world do it? What are we thinking here, man? So
Right. You don't believe in auto ship, but your power bill is every month.
Yeah.
Your home bill is every month. Your health insurance, your car insurance. It's crazy. But staying on this same line of customers, the other thing that I've seen in the industry is the smartest companies are welcoming affiliates and influencers. And when you live in this TikTok day, this Instagram day, this video day, the days where somebody could have 2 million followers, do one video about your product or your service, pick up 300 customers, 500 customers or whatever, and then they talk about something else Tuesday or Wednesday. That's typical for an influencer because they're not a real quote unquote networker. They don't care about the circles. They don't care about show me the comp. How much can I make off the customers? I'm gonna cut this video and knock it out. Why do you think that it's important for networkers to pay attention to getting affiliates and influencers on their team today in this marketplace?
Yeah, so I think it's important to have those people on your team, but it's also important for the owners to create compensation plans and products that they can actually market. So what we created in our deal, and you know this with our deal, you've seen what we've done. We have one of our price points is $99 a month, okay? You cannot know anything about MLM, right? One of the bonuses is every single month, the customer that you bring in at $99, you get $25 ahead for life. Do I need to know anything about MLM? I don't need to know about team commissions, building a business bonus pool. I don't need to know anything. All I need to know is I sell 200 of these tonight on a live stream, 200 at $25 a month. I know exactly what I'm making every single month they reorder. So also the company is creating things that also make sense, not everything just being volume based and more old school network marketing. Because if you get influence, like you said, to get 200 signups in a night, 300 signups in a night, 500 signups in a night, guess what? If they know exactly how they're going to make money, they don't care about the MLM model. They just knew, hey, if I bring this customer, I'm going to get this paid this residually month in, month out forever. So I think it's a combination of price point of the product, company doing their end with what they're going to pay you and how they set up their model. It's a combination, but like you said, why not get those people, especially with the internet today? The internet is huge and so many people have huge followings. So I think you just got to make it make sense to them. I think a lot of companies honestly would not make sense, right? You would agree with that. 99% of these companies probably would not make sense to an online marketer or an online influencer or just some celebrity online, they wouldn't make sense. But a model that's something like we just talked about, oh, I know what I got to do. I could go execute on this. This makes sense.
Right.
It's like traditional business within network marketing, if that makes sense.
No, and it's smart. And I think the smartest companies are paying attention to that.
Yeah.
Like in some of the older companies are like, oh, we can't avoid this now. Like, no, you can't. Like, it needs to be TikTokable, Instagrammable, YouTubeable, or Facebookable because these are the people that are doing it. So you have to appease to them. So good point. So let's shift this gears here for a second. 10 years in, you've gone through a lot of personal development. Share some of the things that has affected you from a personal development stage, things that you've learned in personal development that you've been able to apply, and maybe even share some of the books that you've read or some of the audibles that you've listened to that has helped you become better.
Yeah, so I've read a lot, listened to a lot. I think the first couple years was like really, maybe the first year, let's just say, super heavy into network marketing related content, meaning like building your belief in the industry, understanding what the industry was, more of that kind of stuff. But after you get that, you don't need that. Like, for example, I don't need to convince you on this call right now that network marketing works. You've seen it, you've done it. Like, there's no need to convince you the same way that I'm at today. So me personally, my thought process was, okay, I understand network marketing. I'm passionate about it. I love it. You can't convince me that it's not going to work, etc. Now I want to develop on the world, because I think a lot of people in network marketing, they're really good at selling the product that they have, meaning they understand the product that they have, they understand their business, but they're not really good at relating to the world. So what I wanted to do was educate myself on what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the bigger picture of the world, and make whatever I always sell relatable to people. So when I pitch the business to someone, I'm not pitching like, oh, you need this because you need this. No, I'm like, you need this because look, this is what's going on in the world. This is what's currently happening. This is your situation. This could be a solution to your problem. More so like giving them real examples. So when I pitch the opportunity, I love giving examples of real life stuff. No one ever says to me, I've never got I don't get it. Maybe when I first started really young, right, not explaining it right, no one's ever told me the thing's a pyramid scheme. Like network marketing, it's one of those things. Like no one says that to me because I make the business so relatable. We talk about our comp plan. Yeah, we have a referral model. It's very similar to Cash App or Uber. You ever download one of those apps and they say send it to a friend and get paid? We got a similar model. I make things make sense to people. And I think a lot of people in our industry, they're good at promoting, good at making content, etc. But when they talk to people, they can't make it relatable. So what I've done over the last, let's just say really the last 5 years heavily, is understand the world and not becoming just one dimensional in what I'm talking about, but really understanding, the financial aspect of what's going on in the world, to, jobs and, the cost of living and all this other stuff that when I talk about my business, I can make my business make sense to anyone that I'm talking to. So I think that type of self-development is as big as like, my network marketing, like all that kind of played a role. It's just overall development is making you better at the game that you're playing. But I'll tell you a lot of books and audios. One of the first books I ever read was Beach Money by Jordan Adler. That was like first year I think I was in network marketing. And I actually like that book. Of course, a lot of people would say like GoPro and stuff for like someone who's brand new, right? Like first time. I actually like that more because it was more like story. That's just me personally. And then, of course, like Dale Carnegie, stuff like that, like How to Win Friends and Influence People, those types of books. That kind of stuff was really, really big. And then, of course, you could talk high level stuff, but I don't think most people need Napoleon Hill until they're like, like it's stuff that's going above their head. It's above their comprehension. You need things that are simple, dummy down, like anyone could get involved. And I think network marketing today, most people don't have success because they overcomplicate it. Like this thing's got to be simple. We got to be able to take a guy in 30 minutes, show him how to have success. If you can't do that, your opportunity's broken. Go look for a different opportunity or go create a different onboarding approach or whatever the case. You got to be able to take someone and show them how to get paid. If you can't do that, it's gonna be a hard time in this business.
Good point, man. Good point. So obviously, you've acquired some serious skill sets, man, that have put you where you are today, and it's obvious. So the $1 million question that I always keep to the end of the interview that really hits, because I remember this very, very clear in my business building time. Question. You've been doing this for 10 years. You've seen a lot. You still see a lot still to this day because you're very active building. If you can go back 10 years ago or 7 years ago or 5 years ago, keep it in mind that the name of this book is Untold upline secrets. So if there was a secret, if there was something that your upline could have told you, or sideline or mentor, somebody could have gave you that one thing, those two things, those three things that could have helped compress your time, something that you wish that you had learned earlier, what do you think it would be?
I would say be even more coachable than I even was, which I was a lot. So I was really good compared to 99% of people, but even more coachable. I think the people that have came before you that have had success, they have a feel for the game that we're playing. When you come in, just realize you know nothing. See, the sooner you realize you know nothing, the sooner you will have success. So become coachable. If your mentor says jump, don't ask, hey, why are we jumping? Say, how high do we got to jump? That's the approach you want to come to the business with. And then consistency. Consistency is so important. Like I said earlier, most people lack it. They won't show up day in and day out. They do it for a week. They do it for a month. They do it even for 90 days. And then they fall off, and then they want to get back involved, and they're always restarting instead of compounding. And that's a really, really big deal in our industry. You want to be compounding your efforts, not going up and then falling down and then like, oh, they released a new product. Let's do it again. Like, you don't want to be that person who's always starting over, always rebuilding. Of course, you have to rebuild as part of network marketing, but you want to keep the base going. You want to be that person of influence for your base and showing people that you're leading the way with this movement and what's going on. And I think being in an opportunity for a long time, I've been blessed to do that, right? I started at a young age, got blessed to, get involved in what I got involved in. And, the opportunity might not be the opportunity. It might even be here today without someone even like me. And that's not to brag, but so you had to have a guy who was crazy enough to go do that. But I was lucky enough to be in a company that's in business today. It's still in business, and we were able to compound our efforts. I think a lot of people, you don't need the sexiest opportunity right now, because most likely that opportunity that you think is sexy is probably going to be gone in 6 months to a year. Find something that is sustainable where you can compound your effort. I'm not saying go find the company that's been around 40 years that, hasn't grown in revenue in 20. I'm not saying go that extreme, but find something that's somewhat sustainable, right? You don't got to go join every single startup and you're like, man, another one 3 years in a row. Bro, you're never going to develop credibility. You're never going to develop an organization. You're never going to develop residual income. If you're looking for that stuff, I wouldn't do network marketing. I would do high ticket sales or something. Why do network marketing if you're not going to build residual income? That's something I always said to people. If you don't care about that approach of our business and that whole point of the business, go do something else. Network marketing, it's all about residual income. And we know the statistics. Someone who's been in a company 10 years that's been working it, historically, they're in the top 1% of the income earners of that company a decade later. These are crazy things. You're like, how is that even possible? But most people don't stay with something. So I'm just telling you, find a good opportunity, be consistent with it, be a student, always be a student. I'm learning every day. I don't know it all. I'm learning every single day. I learned from the guy you guys are listening to. I learned from everyone. Everyone that speaks, I'm taking things and applying them to my life every single day. And I can tell you, if you stop becoming a student and you think you know it all, trust me, that check will start going down as well. That's just the reality of this game. Always be a student, always be hungry, always be coachable, always be learning, and good things will keep coming. So that's kind of how I approach it. But it's not rocket science. It's not complicated, but the simplest things are the hardest for people to do. That's what I've realized in this business.
Wow, bro. I think the biggest thing I got out of that was being consistent faster, being more consistent and staying a student, staying in student mode. Still at 6 figures a week, you're still in student mode. And I know that you're going to be a 7-figure a week earner, which is crazy to even think. It's because you still got milk on your breath, literally at 28 years old. What happens in another 10 years? When you're 38, because I know how you move and I know you're not going to slow down. So it's if you, and you would, because of your background and how focused you are and the mentorship and the position that you're in, I know that you can keep this pace up for another 10 years. So you keep this same pace up for another 10 years, dude, it's crazy. I mean, you're already the youngest person ever to be inducted into the Network Marketing Hall of Fame. I can only imagine. I want to sit back 10 years later and see it. I can't wait to see it. This is going to be a beautiful thing. But Anthony, man, thank you, bro. I'm humbled that you popped on here. I know you could have been anywhere, and I appreciate you being a friend and being somebody that was willing to give up those nuggets to the people, that are watching. A lot of people don't have access to you like that outside of your company. You're not one of these people that, creates products and trainings and all this other stuff outside of your company. So I appreciate the time on you sharing these bullets and the boulders that you dropped on us, bro. So I'm humbled. Thank you, man.
No, man, I enjoyed being here. I appreciate it.
All right, man. You rock, man. We'll chat soon, my friend. We'll chat soon. Thanks so much.